Hello everybody, welcome to the new video. Let's start with some tricky questions. Question 1. The limit 3 plus cosine x divided to x over 2, x goes to 0. Can you solve me this? Yeah. Everybody know the cosine in the 0 is 1 and 3 plus 1 divided to 0 power 2 is positive, and answer is number divided to the 0 is positive infinity. That is true, yes? But unfortunately it's totally wrong. Why? I can explain you. We have two kind of number. Number divided to the absolute 0 is not defined, guys. But number divided to limit 0 is infinity, maybe positive or negative. What is the difference between together? For example, when you have 1 cent in your pocket, you can say, I haven't any money, but you have the money. It's not so valuable. Yeah. Another question, but before we're going to solve to another question, of course, let's complete this answer. The top is 4, and we know x positive because it's power 2, and the brace or bracket of this is 0, 1, and we know this point is positive 1, and brace of this is exactly 0, and number divided to absolute 0 is not defined, not infinity, guys. But question 2, limit 4 square cotangent x minus 1, x goes to pi over 4. If we're going to calculate this, we go to the triangularity circle. We know that is tangent and that is cotangent, and pi over 4 exactly is here, and cotangent in here is exactly 1. But if we're gonna to split it, because it's disaster function, minus 1, x goes to over 4 minus, and the limit cotangent x minus 1, x goes to positive part. Exactly in the minus part, we can understand that is positive 1, and therefore if we substitute in here positive 1 minus 1, 4 square is positive, and answer is 0. But in the right side exactly is minus 1, and minus 1 minus 1, 4 square is minus 0 with 4 square, and not defined. Why, guys? You know, when k belongs to n and 2k, every these squares, you must, everything in the bottom of the square must be 0 or positive. And therefore, when you put, for example, minus 3 with 2 square is not defined in the real number, but in the complex, yes, we can find it. But another one, before we go to the solve any question, I gonna to say some tonic equivalence. What's the meaning of this? You know, for example, we say fx is equivalence with jx. What's the meaning of that? Before I go to the mathematical definition, I'm gonna to give you an intuitive example. For example, you consider that is sine, guys. That is sine x, and that is y equal to x. We say y equal to x is equivalent with y equal to sine x in x equal to 0, because they are intersected together and they are also connected together in x equal to 0. But if we're gonna to define mathematically, if the limit of x divided to jx, x goes to a, be 1, we say f is equivalent with j in x equal to a. But one more thing is so important in the equivalence is equivalence of in the point 0, because in this time, for example, the sinus and sinus hyperbolic and tangent hyperbolic and e power x minus 1 are equivalent with x when x goes to the 0, guys. Therefore, we must understand it, and in some question, immediately we see that we can substitute all this hard function with x. For example, so simple after this notice, limit e power x minus 1 divided to 5x, x goes to 0. We know this is equivalence with x. It's better to write this symptom, guys. And answer is 1 over 5, guys. Excuse me. But another question, limit, question 1, question 2, limit tangent x, tangent 2x divided to 3x2, x goes to 0. We know this is equivalence, and answer is this equivalence with x cross this equivalence with 2x divided to 3x3. They can cancel each other, and answer is 2 over 3. But another question, guys, but before I'm gonna to give you another example, I'm gonna to give you a so important notice. What is the polynomial? A polynomial is a set of sentence like this: a x power 0 plus b x power 1 and blah blah blah. A and b are belong to R, and you know your power is 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and goes to infinity. Therefore, when we have a polynomial and x goes to 0, we use the minimum of sentence. Okay, for example, x power 3 minus 5x 2 plus 3x equivalence with 3x, because the minimum power is x power 1 in this polynomial. When x goes to 0, they are equivalents. Or another one, x power 6 minus 5 x power 2 minus 3 is equivalence with minus 3, because it's x power 0 and x power 0, and the minimum of the between them is minus 3, and they are equivalents when x goes to the 0. Let's go to last question and solve another question with this notice. Example, limit x2 minus x sinus divided to x power 4 minus 5x power 2 minus x power 6 when x goes to the 0. Okay, guys, you know this is polynomial and is equivalence with minus x. This is when x goes to the 0, this function is equivalence with x, and we can substitute that, And here is polynomial again, and we can put the minimum power is minus 5x power 2, and answer is 1/5. Thank you for watching this movie. I wish you all the best. Please subscribe our channel and give your comments. Bye bye.